Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining us today. I want to just really appreciate those who are here live and also those who are listening to our podcast. Just want to give you a special welcome as well. I encourage you to participate if you are live. If you're here on the recording, you're just as much a part of this call as those who are here live, and you add your energy to us even when you're not present because of your intention of starting each day with gratitude. Just want to really appreciate everybody who makes that choice to consistently be here and to participate in this call, because I know that each little thing that we learn adds upon the other. And when you miss, there's something, there's like a little piece missing for us, for you being here, and also for you of what you might receive. So thank you for that consistency. For today, this actually kind of builds a little bit on yesterday. Yesterday, we were grateful for routine tasks. And today, we're going to focus on gratitude for systems. And it sounds very similar, but different as well. So excited to see what we get to learn. I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to do a silent private meditation on gratitude for systems, and we'll see what comes up. So 90-second private silent meditation, gratitude for systems, begin. All right. I think because of yesterday's call, I was open to a new routine that would help me. There's been 3 things that have not been getting done. I keep getting behind on my Facebook, like notifications, and also my email, and my house has not been cleaned as regularly as usual. And I was wondering, what I could do to get that taken care of. And today, like to create a new system, that would allow that to get it, because it's good, it's nice to be able to just say, okay, I'm just going to go clean all my email out, or I'm just going to go clean my house. I'm going to take this day and clean my house. But that's not sustainable. It's not something that you can just, take a whole day and clean your house like once a week or something. I don't know, maybe some people that is their system, but for me, that doesn't work. And so I just had the idea, because in between my appointments, in between my calls, I like to get up and go do something physical. I like to go walk outside, or something that sustains me throughout the day, instead of just like sitting at my desk the whole time. And I realized that exercise is a physical activity. So I was like, oh, I could get up and like go dust the front room and then come back and do an appointment or whatever. And it's not something that would take me off focus. So, and I realized that this is something that I learned years ago. A mentor told me that if you anchor a habit to another habit, like something that you're already doing anyway, and you say, when I do this, then I'm going to do this. If there's some sort of a link, then it's already a habit immediately. If you can, you don't have to like do it for 21 days or whatever. It just already is a habit. And I was just really grateful for mentors that have served me in the past, and that they're still serving me. Somebody that I paid years ago, it's actually still serving me. Something that they had shared with me to help me to create some new systems that will help me get the results that I want, the predictable results that I want. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I'd like to share.
Okay, Melinda.
I am so grateful for systems and for system upgrades, but more for, and also for system realignment. So yesterday, I felt like there was a common theme. And so I call my Mondays Meeting Monday, because I just have meetings all day long. And there was a common theme in my surroundings for this, after that call, after the gratitude call, of this, like, this feeling that there was this misalignment and like change and upgrade and alignment in my routine needed to happen for me, for my schooling, for my personality type. Like, I just definitely felt a disconnect. Like there was something that call was like, okay, this is ready to change into new. And I really was resistant to it. And so I felt like it was all crashing in on me until I was willing to let go, which really took me all day. And one lady who I love, her name is Jazz, reminded me of a favorite talk of mine by a wise man. His name is Jeffrey R. Holland, and it's The Wrong Road. And it just talks about a father and son who, it was pretty late at night, and they had been out cutting wood, and they needed to get home, and they came to a fork in the road, and they weren't sure which road to take to get them home. And so they prayed for inspiration, and they went one way, and that way was wrong. They came to a dead end like soon after. And so they're like, why did we get told the wrong way? And the reason was so that they knew when they were going in the right direction, that road for the right direction was a lot longer, that they knew they were on the right road, that they wouldn't be in fear. And I really, really wanted to sign up for 12 college credits this semester. I had this whole plan in my mind. And as my husband came home yesterday, and I just cried, and we prayed together, I knew that I had already been told, only take 9 credits this semester. But I tried to make that like, oh, that's a limiting belief. I can do more than that. It's not inspiration. And like more the counterfeit that came in was, it's failure if I don't. And so just to change everything up last night was like, so my head was spinning, but this morning it just feels so rewarding, like to finally listen to that deep inspiration that was already always there.
Beautiful. And I think, you shared a couple of things that really help us to know if it is like our ego or if it's a limiting belief, because if it's rooted in fear, which, it's failure if I don't, that definitely, anything that has like a fear base to it, we know that's a limiting belief. And then your ego is like, no, I can do that. That can't be right, or whatever. There are really systems that we can even notice with inspiration to know, is this inspiration, or is this just my ego, or is this a limiting belief talking? there are ways that we can recognize that. Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you sharing that. I actually wrote myself a note too. I'm going to post in the Facebook group if you want to post that talk that you listened to, because I think that would be really helpful for people. And I also created an audio. It's been years ago, probably like 5 years ago, called The Wrong Path. And it's very similar message. And so I'll post that one as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Who else? Tyree and then Phil.
So this, I don't know if any of you know that song, Smooth Operator, but that's the song that came in my head. Because when we have systems, then things just run really smooth. And I love how when you have a really well-built, inspired system, it is synergistic in making the results even more than the parts. And I was just thinking, and I don't know if I can tie this in effectively, but I was talking to Tammy, and she told, so I was talking a few weeks or a month, I don't even know, ago, about primary and secondary foods. And our primary foods are like connecting to our Heavenly Father and really connecting to other people like our family and having really good relationships. And our secondary foods are actual food. And when we try to fill those holes of our primary foods with secondary food, it's never going to work, and you're just going to have cravings and cravings. And so when I told that on the call, she said, well, it just clicked for her. And so she started applying that and making sure that she had that connection with heaven each day, and her cravings went away. And I was like, what? You did it and it worked? and so it just inspired me that those systems that he's asked us to do to really connect with him first thing in prayer in the morning, and like you've showed us through the GPS, is an inspired system. And so I'm grateful for Tammy sharing that with me so that I can have a little more faith and actually do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyree. And I'm just going to, because I know you were in our case study group as well, I'm just going to really encourage you to create something on your Facebook group, the God's Garden Inspiration?
Insights, yes.
God's Garden Insights.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, and then share your post to the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, so that everybody can have access to that. And I'm just really anchoring this in. You have good stuff to share, and it's time for you to share all of your good stuff that you have in your brain. Instead of sharing other people's stuff, you need to start sharing your own stuff. Thank you. Okay, Phil and then Robert.
So what came to me was, first off, solar systems, operating systems, and then, creation systems. And there are certain systems that like the creation system, there's elements of it that we can control, that we can interject into the system and change the outcome. But there are certain systems that we cannot control, that are set in place by other forces, and we can conform to those systems, and when we conform to them, then we can use the powers that they create. Even an operating system on a computer, if you introduce a program from a maker that doesn't, let's say that you have an Apple and you're trying to use a PC program, doesn't work. It gets all messed up. It gets all confused. And I think that happens to us too, that we are non-conformant to a system that has already been set in place, and that we can't change the system. And then we act in resistance to the system, and then the system ultimately wins every time. And so understanding that system and being able to harness the power of that system is, I think, what we're doing here on this planet right now. There is a system in place, and And when we conform to that system, then we are given power.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I'm reminded of a couple of things. Just the last masterclass that I did in August about harnessing the power of Christ. You said you harness the power of a system when you conform to it. And that just adds new meaning to that idea of harnessing power, the power of Christ. And then the other thing I wanted to share is in one of it's like the second to the last chapter in my book, The 7 Gateways, Your Map to Integrity in Life and Business, I talk about immovable momentum. There's a chapter that's called Immovable Momentum. And what it means is that there are certain things in the universe that are immovable. Like you're talking about, there's certain things that if you want to harness the power of it, you have to conform yourself to it. And the momentum comes when you do conform yourself to those things, and then you can work in tandem with the universe instead of against the universe, because the universe is always going to win. Thank you. Robert.
Well, you said you said the magical word conform, and it's like, see you later. Not to say that systems aren't important, even methodical, to and valuable in one's life, but it's also an example of, junk in, junk out. We're subject to somebody else's systems, not the universe systems. Yes, we are. Like Phil was saying, if we don't conform to that system, it'll win every time. It's true, but it depends on where the system originates from for it to really be valuable, and that's part of the quest, I believe, in life, to determine what system, because what system works for me will not necessarily work for you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, we do get into trouble when we try to make other people conform to our systems, because it's just because it works for me doesn't necessarily, if it's not, now there are certain systems, like we said, about the universe and stuff, that it works for everyone. But there are some systems that I create for myself, like my new system of, cleaning my house in between my appointments may not work for other people. So that wouldn't be something that I would get online and say, this is the absolute best way to clean your house. But it might work for me and it might work for other people. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Deepti.
So with the word of systems, the whole human body just came into me, and I thought about all the main systems of the human body, be it the circulatory system, when it exactly knows when to pump blood to the cells, to the heart, the digestive system, which actually makes the food digestion for us, the immune system that we have inside that exactly prevents us from the outside bacteria and viruses, the nervous system, the urinary system, which knows when to throw out waste. So I just think that our human body is so perfectly synchronized, and it does these systems and functioning of the body so well that we actually don't reside in our homes, we reside in our body. So I think we all should really respect and take care of our body and be really happy that it keeps us so healthy.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. That actually was part of the reason why I wanted to make that change for myself today, with cleaning my house and keeping my email and my Facebook notifications up to date. Was we've talked in the past about this space between. That was, one of the focuses that we had, and I felt like that space between was getting cluttered. And so and for me, the space between is where all creation happens. So if I've got clutter in that space between, then it makes it harder for me to create. And I feel like what you've just shared kind of really anchors that in for me, that I'm residing in my body, but my body is residing within my home, and that there's definitely a connection between, my body. God's created that to be perfectly synchronized, that if I can also create my environment to be perfectly synchronized, then everything's going to continue to work even smoother. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and shift over to our permission process. Invite you to go ahead and take a deep breath. Thanks for everything that has been shared. Lots of different ways to look at systems and lots of different systems that we get to be aware of in our lives. Systems that maybe we have been cluttering up or resisting. Systems that work perfectly for us, that we can express gratitude for. And some that we know it's time for us to make some changes. One more deep breath. And the first question I have for you is, what is the limiting belief that you have coming up for you about systems? And as you're getting clear with what that limiting belief is, I invite you to also recognize and really take in the magnitude of the cost of having that limiting belief, how it affects not only the systems of your life, but also relationships, or possibly your finances, your health, and the way that you feel about yourself, your own personal power, and what you can accomplish in life. What if you look at this limiting belief in its all consuming expanse of, you know, what it can mean, what the universe, how the universe might be able to interpret this limiting belief? Because with the universe, one of the systems that we live with that is a perfect system that we can use either for us or against us if we resist it, is that the words that we speak bring us exactly what we ask for. And there are many connotations to words. And if there is a connotation that maybe you have not recognized before, or a way that that universe might be able to interpret that word, then it might be bringing you some results that you had not even been aware of, that you've been totally blind to. In what ways could that limiting belief affect you and your success in all areas of your life? And as you're recognizing the magnitude of the cost of this limiting belief, now's the time to make a choice. You can choose to keep that limiting belief, or you can choose to step into a new belief and create a different outcome. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. And then what are some new beliefs? Let's choose like 2 or 3 new beliefs to go to take the place of that old limiting belief, something that gives that all connotations will work in your favor. All connotations of these words will work in your favor. So as you're writing these new beliefs down, I invite you to notice if there are any words in your new beliefs that could possibly be interpreted by the universe as negative, bring you something negative, to make a change to those words if there's anything in there that the universe could maybe misinterpret. Just be very conscious of, because we are creating we're interrupting the past system and we're putting in place a new system. And we want to make sure that this new system is going to bring you the predictable results that you want. 2 or 3 new beliefs that are super positive and taking you, giving the universe instructions to allow you to have a different outcome, the outcome that you choose. And along with the universe bringing you things, there is a part that you get to play. There are some action steps that would help to give the universe even more of a chance to be successful, to bring you exactly what you want. And so right now, just be open to know what is the one most important thing that you could do today that would clear the path, just clear any stumbling blocks away for the universe to be able to bring you exactly what you're asking for, exactly what you choose. What's your inspired shortcut today? What's the one important thing that you could do today to clear the path for the universe to bring you this new outcome that you're choosing? In a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares, and just want to also appreciate everybody for everything that has been shared today. And I want to also invite anyone who is struggling in this area at all, if you would like to have a conversation with me, I offer, this is one of the systems that I have in place, is to offer a free 15-minute mentoring session. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com, and that will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a time to meet with me, a 15-minute appointment that we can meet. And I promise you that that 15 minutes will be life-changing. It will help you to uncover a blind spot that you haven't seen and help you to move forward with more success in the systems that you're creating. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
I'll share a little bit.
Okay, Melinda and then Phil.
My thought was, or my question, I guess, is, so when you have rebellion towards your shortcut and you don't feel like the cost is very high, but the cost is probably actually confusion, right? Like, how do you get past the rebellion?
Interesting choice of words. Rebellion is what got Satan kicked out of heaven. And to me, that is the ultimate cost, to have no longer the presence of God. That
it's a big cost.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate cost. So when you recognize that, what is the opposite of rebellion?
Obedience.
Obedience. And that is the first law of heaven. So to be in God's presence, it takes obedience. And to totally shut him out altogether, it's rebellion. And so maybe that will give you some motivation to make a change on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. Phil.
So my limiting belief is that I'll lose something if I conform. And then I look at the cost of losing, that thing that for me has yielded dividends, of some sort. And then to conform to the system means that I need to end what's making me be not in conformance. And so, yeah, that's like a limiting belief for me. And so, my mind doesn't even want to go to the new belief.
Okay.
It wants to just stop right there.
Can I share something?
Sure.
I feel like this really applies to what Melinda said as well, that, and I went through this same exact refining process, Phil, that when we are at a place where we're ready to conform to those things that are truly going to give us the best results, basically what we're asked to do is to give up our will, to give up control, to give up our individuality even, and to allow God to lead us and to be 100% under his direction and aligning our will with his will. And when you go through that refining process, it feels like you are just like losing yourself. And that's actually something in the scriptures, is to lose yourself, to find yourself. You know, you lose your life to gain your life. And I'm just like a personal witness that when you do that, when you go through that refining process and you're willing to shed all of that ego and rebellion, and you allow yourself to step fully into obedience, that is where you have the most control. And that is where you have the most opportunities for success. That's where you have the highest degree of individuality, is when you agree to conform to God's will. So it is a refining process, and it's something that all of us, if we choose to be, you know, in that space of, you know, fully taking God as our partner, it's a process that we all have to go through. Robert?
I wish I had clarity on this subject, because even though everything you're saying makes sense, I rebelled against Mother, and it wasn't out of spite. It wasn't even out of ignorance. It was out of bliss. It became a positive for me, for what I thought. It became positive. So there's got to be some value in rebellion, and to being rebellious. Otherwise, it's conformity. And I'm just drawing blanks in some respects, going, I don't even like this subject.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, because we do need to clarify. It's rebellion and obedience to God alone, and
Thank you.
And to
Much clearer.
Yeah, and to yourself as your divine intelligence, because your divine intelligence is in alignment with God. And when you rebel against God, it's like you're rebelling against your own highest and best self.
Yes, and I wondered if Satan did rebel, but I wondered if it was pride, because he wanted all the glory himself.
Yeah,
so I think there was more to rebellion than just the word rebellion, because it may be, to me, it was very misleading. It's like, I don't even like this, because I have rebelled, and I do rebel, and I'll continue to rebel. But that doesn't mean I don't
I think
rebel against God.
Yeah, and I think when we identify a limiting belief and we give ourselves permission to turn away from that limiting belief and turn towards something that is going to serve us better, it's like just that one little dial to the right that is getting us more in alignment with God. And that, yeah, so I don't know, you know, you can call it rebellion, or you can call it turning away from, you can call it turning towards the thing that is going to serve you best. So
yes, that's value.
Yeah, so moving away from, you know, conformity to something or someone who is, you know, keeping you from being your full genius, that is turning towards yourself, which, you know, maybe you can
conforming
call that
to God's laws along with it.
Yeah.
Then you got a win-win, because otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Because God always, you know, his purpose is that man have joy, and that, you know, that we're all successful and return home to him. So there's, there would be no fear in turning towards God, turning away from something else and turning towards him.
Yeah.
I think our word choice, you know, words have power. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not, I don't even consider it the same thing. You look at our founding fathers, and I don't consider what they did as a rebellion. You know, they talk about a revolution, mm-hmm. and they made a covenant with God. So they were absolutely acting in alignment with God's will.
The word restoration came to me as you were talking to, and for you, Robert, as well. It's like restoring things to their proper order, aligning with the system that was meant to be. Melinda, did you have something? And then we're going to end our call.
Yes, just real quick. I just thought about DT's words. And can you imagine when our body rebels and like doesn't digest things properly, and like what a mess. And so my new belief is, yes, I obey God's system for me, even when his logic doesn't make sense in my mind.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you all for everything that has been shared. I encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Continue sharing your thoughts there. I can tell that we're not done, but we need to be done. We need to be finished with our call today. So yeah, I really appreciate everything that has been shared. Tyree says it's the energy of the word too. There's like if we said rebellion, you know, in a way that is turning towards, but a rebellion in a way that's turning against because of fear, there's, you know, a difference in the energy of the word too. So yeah, we can totally go to our Facebook group and continue our conversation there. Thanks, everybody. Love you. And we will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And yeah, excited to see what else we get to learn today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you all.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.